Moonshine Life Recipes Group thanks JB Wagonmaker for sharing this article. The No-Boil Corn Mashing Method. Moonshine Life Groups. I have been experimenting for a while on a methodology for mashing corn, primarily focusing on reducing the labor involved but also on reducing the likelihood of scorching. I've tried a number of different approaches, garnering bits and pieces of information from other posts and finally came up with this method. To give credit where credit is due, it was one of Dienderhead's posts that got me thinking of this particular approach. No boil doesn't mean no cooking. It is the application of heat for extended periods that accomplishes the gelatinization of the corn. It is still necessary to spend time stirring, but the amount of time is significantly reduced. I have used this method with 6 mashes, 7 pounds corn, 2 pounds wheat, 3 pounds malted red wheat. So far, and with each mash I had an OG of 1.062, potential ABV of 7-8%, which is pretty good for an all-grain mash. Here's the procedure I've developed for a 12 pounds grain bill with 6 gallons of liquids. I'm using backset and sparge from a previous wash. 1. Pre-soak. Boil 1.5 gallons backset and add to all grains except malt. Add enough cold water to reduce temps to 150 to 155 F, about 4 to 5 cups, and add 1/2 teaspoon alpha. Stir well and seal the bucket. Let set for 2 days. I've done the pre-soak with both backset and plain water, and there is a definite benefit to using the backset. I think the acid helps to break loose the starches, and I know it also helps the enzymes in saccharification. The addition of alpha keeps the corn from becoming a solid mass, but instead it's a thick, gooey porridge that can be easily removed from the bucket. 2. Bring 4 gallons of sparge water to a boil and turn off heat. Add 2 teaspoons gypsum and a pinch of Epsom salt. These help the enzymes do their thing. Add the pre-soaked grains, stirring well. Temps will drop to around 150 F. Add 1 pound malted grain and stir well. I have used alpha here, but the malted grains do a better job. Let rest for at least 30 minutes so malt can convert the available starches. This will keep the mash from getting real thick. It really helps in keeping it from sticking to the pot and virtually eliminates any problems with scorching, and it makes stirring much easier. You can't include this lb of malt in the bill for ultimate conversion because most of the starch hasn't gelatinized yet, so it's sacrificial. 3. The key now to good gelatinization is time at elevated temps. I'll bring the mash up to 200 F in 2 steps, first to 165 to 175, rest for 30 to 45 minutes, and then to 200 F with another rest of 30 to 45 minutes. Corn has a gelatinization range of 144 to 168, so boiling is really not necessary, but time at the higher temp is. During the rest stages I'll stir every 5 to 10 minutes or so to keep the corn suspended and off the bottom of the pot. My stove has a 2700 watt element, and it generally take about 18 to 20 minutes to raise the temps at each step. The pot that you use can also make a big difference. When I first started distillation I was using a cheap SS pot and had a terrible time with the corn sticking and with scorching. I finally broke down and bought an 8 gallons megapot from Northern Brewer, and it has made a significant difference. The SS is much thicker and the bottom is 3 layers and around 1/4 in thick. The mass distributes the heat much better. Another aid is to use a stirring spatula instead of a spoon. It allows scraping the entire bottom to keep it clean while cooking. 4. Now I'll transfer my mash to a 6.5 gallons bucket. Add 3 cups cold water to make a total of 6 gallons liquid. Gelatinization will continue as the mash cools and will thicken considerably. At 156 to 158 F I'll add 1 tablespoon alpha to thin the mash, making it easier to stir in the malted grains. At 150 F I add the malted grains and insulate to hold temps above 140 F for a minimum of 2 hours. When temps drop below 130 F I'll separate off the grain and cool to pitching temps. It is a long process, but it sure beats standing and stirring for an hour or more. Thanks JB Wagonmaker. Cheers.